Before the Civic Mirror started, I was a bit apprehensive of how it would enhance my learning about government. I thought that it was slightly pointless to spend half a semester on a simulation not learning about examples of governments in the real world and in the United States. And while I did miss out on learning about the implementation of different styles of government worldwide, the Civic Mirror managed to give me a theoretical framework for a few political, social, and economic philosophies that are at play in the world. Notice that there is a question mark on the face. The first lesson I learned was that involvement in the government and town hall-like events has its merits and demerits. In the government, you could vote, suggest bills, discuss bills in the legislative event, or run for office and become a senator, representative, or the president. The merits to getting very involved in government are that your voice will be heard, and you could have a lot of power over which way policy tips, but these are only benefits if you have certain goals. As a citizen, I found that going with the flow of what representatives wanted was far easier and didn't negatively affect me too much, and all I had to do was just vote for them. And this, I think, will probably be representative of real life for me. In the town hall event, citizens have the opportunity to voice concerns, suggestions, criticisms, or simply kudos. This Civic Mirror event made me think about political commentary by common citizens in the real world, which in turn made me question how helpful the town hall event is. I do not think most citizens know enough about political issues to offer useful or even rational opinions. So, this is a picture that you've probably seen on social media sites, and obviously there are perhaps more worrying impacts on other areas of their lives, but this is a huge problem if people with this attitude are going to grow up to vote for a president. And this is a Facebook post about political issues, and it's not going to focus. And it says, "So me and my mom decided we'd rather move to Canada instead of sitting here watching America fall to the ground. I say vote liberal. Darn the Democrats and Republicans." And it says, "You don't understand what liberal means, do you? Yeah, no president. Look at other countries without a ruler. They're doing fine." If this is in any way representative of my generation, maybe it's not a good idea to let citizens confuse political events and issues on a large stage by flooding the internet or real-life town hall-like events with shockingly erroneous and uninformed opinions. I know that this is an extreme example, but even if it's halfway true for a certain group of people, that's too much. The second lesson I learned was about how actions can be judged or laws can be made through either a moral lens or a legal lens. Or anyway, that's how people tend to look at them. There was a lot of discussion about West Korea's supposed immorality because Terrell got the farm in 2000. People said that this was not right, but had nothing to back that up, while Terrell had the law on his side. Also, people were getting very, very heated about price ceilings, challenging farm owners' sense of compassion, but not their right to life, and that would be connected to their right to food. And this appeal to compassion or morals would be fine if it didn't throw a very, very bad thing into the political and judicial arenas. Out of these two ways to judge, by morals or by law, there is one that the Founding Fathers wanted, and one that is reflected in the U.S. and thus the Civic Mirror Constitution. And it does not start with an M. In Finland, as you can see, a large group of people favor the law over morals. But are the Finnish really immoral, murdering, backstabbing serial killers who loot and pillage with reckless abandon? Of course not. They're a highly developed society today because of what law is and what it's supposed to do for a society. The controversy in the Civic Mirror really made me think about this issue in the United States. Increasingly, I feel that people are debating the hot political issues of our day not with the Constitution, but with their religious book or moral philosophies of choice. These are three big issues in the U.S. today, and people are not talking about, hey, does pregnancy count as involuntary servitude? Because if it does, the state doesn't have the right to force a woman to keep her baby under the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery or involuntary servitude. And they're not talking about the conflict between the freedom of religion and the freedom of expression and other issues in the Constitution in relation to gay marriage. What people are doing is this. And while religion is definitely an integral part of culture in Americans' lives, the Founding Fathers did not want subjective belief ruling this country, which is why we have the separation of church and state. Morals are one of the more relativistic gray areas on which to base laws for a large and diverse people. The Founding Fathers wanted the Constitution to rule so a country didn't turn into a roiling mass of irascible people arguing about who's the better person. And religion isn't the only basis people have for this. The last lesson I learned was that I am not actually very free market, that extremist political parties are just dumb, but more importantly, that each political philosophy has its strength. West Korea had the Republicans and Rhine apples. We're 15 and we still managed to form the Democratic and Republican divide, with the Rhine apples being Democrats, the Republicans being Republicans. So in 2000, it's not focusing. So in 2000, under a Rhine apple or Democrat-dominated legislature, only 5 people had 0 well-being points. The next year, with Republicans in power, 11 people had 0 well-being points, and the well-being points were more highly concentrated in the hands of the few than in 2000. The benefit of higher taxes and more government control over the economy is that the people as a whole are better off. However, I earned a lot more money under a Republican government. In the real world, I just have to choose a political philosophy that would give my fellow citizens and me what we want, be that money or well-being or political power or education or something else. Before the Civic Mirror, I understood that a certain political philosophy should not be crowned with a halo or handed a devil's fork. Political philosophies are tightly woven with economic and social philosophies that can deliver only a small array of options. You have to decide which one you want, receive the benefits, but also sacrifice something else. On its webpage, the Civic Mirror claims to turn students into citizens. While I hardly think it did that yet, as we are only 15, I did learn some things that made my question mark less sure of itself. The point is to improve and refine your views so you can participate in civic life to whatever extent fits your goals, philosophies, and beliefs. And also, hopefully, to eliminate the annoying question mark, probably blocking your view. On a lighter note, printing these papers taught me that cyan ink does actually matter, and your laptop knows what it's talking about when it kindly warns you that cyan ink is low.